Hey guys, what's up? It's Kevin for the Winner. We're back for another edition of Diablo 3. Today on the channel, we're going to be taking a look at Ina's mantra, which is going to get some significant changes in Season 24 of Diablo. The PTB was just announced. That's going to be coming out on June 17th for all you PC users out there. You'll be able to experiment. So Ina is going to be getting a buff, and then there's some other things that are going to be getting nerfed. We're going to talk about that in a second. Here is an Ina build for Season 23 of Diablo. Here it is 2-piece bonus. Increase the passive effect of your Mystic Ally and the base passive effect of your mantra by 100%. 4-piece gain the base effect of all 4 mantras at all times. 6-piece bonus gain the 5 ruined Mystic Allies at all times. Your damage is increased by 950% for each Mystic Ally you have out. So that's pretty much how the build works. It's heavily focused on Mystic Allies, however, in Season 23. Most of the Earth skills are where you get most of your damage from. To help on the set, we're using the Lefebvre Soloque. I probably butchered the name. Cyclone Strike reduces your damage taken by 49% for 5 seconds. We're also going to be using the Shenlong weapons on this particular build because it helps us with our Wave of 100 Fists quite a bit. 2-piece bonus, the damage of your spirit generators is increased by 2% for each point of spirit you have. When reaching maximum spirit, all damage is increased by 350%, but you no longer passively regenerate spirit, and 65 spirit is drained every second until you run out of spirit. So that's the drawback for getting the attack increase to that. So we're going to be using both pieces of this, and you want to have critical hit gems on here, so the flawless green emeralds. We're also going to be using Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac because we need a little bit extra cooldown on here. We're also going to be using Glock of Swiftness for cooldown. We want cooldown on our Mystic Allies' actual attack because that has generally a very slow cooldown, so that's why we use that. We're using Convention of Elements as the ring. We're also going to be using Binders of a Lesser Gods. Enemies hit by your Cyclone Strike take 181% increased damage from your Mystic Allies for 5 seconds. Rhonda's Locket, I have a Primal Ancient Legendary of this, so I just want an attack stats. You could replace this with a Flavor of Time if you want to, or any other type of necklace that you like. I'm pretty much running a Flavor of Time on my follower, though. For skills, Wave of the 100 Fist, Assimilation, Mystic Ally, Water Ally, although remember you're going to get all the attacks anyway, so it's not really too, not really too crazy what you can run there. Mantra of Salvation, Divine Protection. Again, we got all the mantras anyway as well, so just use this one in the slot, but you're pretty much going to get the benefits of everything anyway, so... Dashing Strike, Blinding Speed. That way we could just, like, get closer to mobs when we're far away and just get some map presence. Cyclone Strike, Implosion. Increase the distance enemies are pulled towards you because we use Cyclone Strike a lot. Exploding Palm, Impending Doom. We want Exploding Palm primarily as we get higher up in the Greater Rifts. Beacon of Yar. Harmony is going to be your passive. Seize the Initiative and Near-Death Experience. I would recommend using these. Let's bring up the Kanai's Cube. Fist of Zazur's Tarak. That could be anything you want there. I recommend that, though, since you're using Exploding Palm. The Crudest Boots and Unity. Unity is something you're not going to need, actually, in Season 24 Diablo, it looks. For the follower, I would recommend using the Broken Crown, because that's probably one of the best emanate abilities that you can get in the helm. I would also recommend for the necklace, Flavor of Time, unless you're already wearing it on your character. Nemesis Bracers for the bracers. Krady's Flame for the ring, because I haven't ran into any other rings that actually have a emanate ability. Gladiator's Gauntlets for the gauntlets, that way you can just get more gold. Homing Pads, just for the sake of argument. And Gold Skin, that way, again, these are all skills that are kind of helpful to you, but you don't necessarily want to run them on your main character, so you put them on the follower, that way you get additional abilities. For today's showcase, we are going to do a Greater Rift 60, 65, 70, and 75. This will be basically demonstrations of how this armor works from Torment 13 to Torment 16 difficulty. Keep in mind that my armor's not fully optimized. I don't have all the pieces Ancient Legendary because I was kind of in a little bit of a crunch time trying to get this video out to you guys. And I don't replay Ina too much. So only 3 pieces of armor are fully augmented. So what you want to do is when you get into the Greater Rift, use your Cyclone Strike to pull enemies into you, and then use your Wave of the 100 Fists to pummel enemies into submission. Keep in mind your Mystic Allies will also be attacking. If you pull in a Elite Pack with your Cyclone Strike instead of using Wave of the 100 Fist, I would recommend using your Mystic Ally attack because you can kind of one-shot things. Now, Exploding Palm, as I mentioned before, is on this build for when you get higher up in the Greater Rift, when you're looking at Greater Rift 70, 75, Torment 16 difficulty, where you would want to go Cyclone Strike and then mark your enemy with Exploding Palm and then use either the Mystic Ally attack or just pummel as hard as you can with Way of the 100 Fist. Now, this is not a really good tier armor. It's probably one of the lower tier armors for the Monk class, probably one of the least used Monk set armors in Diablo 3, which is why for Season 24, the PTB goes live on June 17th, which is 2 days from now. Blizzard has decided to give Ina's Mantra kind of a bit of a rework and a buff because they saw that was necessary. It should be interesting to note that a couple of items for this particular build were changed. I'm going to bring it up here for you guys. I'm going to read it off to you. I'm not going to put it up on screen because that would detract from the gameplay. So these are the new changes that have come to Ina's Mantra. The 4-piece set bonus says that gain the base effect of all 4 mantras at all times. That is pretty much what the armor does currently. This is the new part. You gain 5% damage reduction for each Mystic Ally you have out, and your Mystic Allies no longer take damage. So you get damage reduction for every Mystic Ally out, and your Mystic Allies no longer take damage. So you get damage reduction with the 4-piece bonus, which you never had before, and your Mystic Allies no longer take damage, which means you can't use Unity in the Kanai's Cube anymore, because it's not really going to be helpful, because you can't split the damage. So at least that frees up a slot in your Kanai's Cube. The 6-piece bonus that Ina's Mantra says, gain the passive abilities of the 5 rune Mystic Allies at all times. Okay, that part was always in here. Now, attacking enemies creates your chosen Mystic Ally that lasts 15 seconds, up to 10 Mystic Allies. That is the new affix for this, because this was not how it was before, so they added something where, I guess, when you attack an enemy, it creates your chosen Mystic Ally that lasts for 15 seconds. So it seems like when you attack, you're going to create another Mystic Ally. Up to 10 Mystic Allies can be on the screen at the same time. At least that's my understanding the way I'm reading this from the patch now. Subsequently, also on the 6-piece set bonus, the damage of your Mystic Allies is increased by 950% for each Mystic Ally you have out. That part is exactly the same. The only difference is now they added for each Mystic Ally that you have out, 950% increase. So, as you can see, now it looks like you're going to be able to create a bit more Mystic Allies than you were able to before, and you have damage reduction, which you didn't have previously on the set, as you see in the current build that's up on the screen, which is a Season 23 build. Something else that they did is they've changed a little bit of how the Crudus Boots and Binders of the Lesser Gods work. Crudus Boots now says Mystic Ally summons 2 Mystic Allies that fight for your side. That part was always in there. However, this part is a little bit different. They deal 300 to 400% increased damage and are able to attack with their active forms longer. So that's very interesting that the Mystic Allies are going to be able to attack with their active forms a little bit longer. So it's like they're giving more love to actual Mystic Allies themselves now with this particular fix to the affix. The Binders of the Lesser Gods also got a little bit of a change where they added something to its text. This says enemies hit by your Cyclone Strike take 300% to 400% increased damage from your Mystic Ally for 5 seconds. Now, this is new. Split Fire Allies gain 5 times this bonus. So, the Fire Allies, as you see on the screen, would be the red allies that you see coming up. So, those red allies, after you've used a Cyclone Strike, are going to be able to deal 5 times the amount of damage that they normally would deal out, which seems incredibly interesting and very, very, very powerful. They kind of made this more intents and purposes a Cyclone Strike Mystic Ally build by kind of centralizing some of these things. It was kind of that way already, but they kind of giving more buffs to the Mystic Allies in particular. Now, the developer notes for this are pretty interesting because it says Ina's Mantra played similar to other Monk sets and didn't have a strong identity. We wanted to see the Mystic Ally play a more important role rather than simply providing a passive power boost. As you see here on the screen, usually when I'm using my Mystic Allies, they're only there to give me a modified attack boost. Now, it seems like Mystic Allies are going to play a more important role. They're going to be able to do more damage, and it seems like you will be able to create more. I'm actually trying to count how many of them I have on screen right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I get normally 5 Mystic Allies that are blue, and then the 2 red Mystic Allies I'm getting from, obviously, the Crudus Boot. The way it seems to me from the 6-piece bonus is that now when I do attack after, like, using, let's say, a Cyclone Strike or whatnot, I'm going to be able to create more blue Mystic Allies. At least that's what my interpretation of this armor set is based on the way the text works. That was a 4-minute and 40-second clear time career with 60, which is Torment 13 difficulty for those of you curious. So it seems interesting because it seems like you're going to have a lot more blue Mystic allies, which is going to increase the damage that you can deal with the Ina set in Season 24. And then it also seems like the red guys, which you get from the Crutus boots, are going to be able to do 5 times more damage when Cyclone Strike is activated thanks to the bindings of the Lesser God. So all in all, it looks like you're going to be doing significantly more increased damage, which means you would be able to clear greater rifts a lot significantly faster. If you're using this particular build that I have up based on the Season 24 changes, I would say we would go from 4-minute clear times that we're currently doing, that we probably could get the clear times down to 2 minutes on Greater Rift 60, and then probably on Greater Rift 70 with non-full optimization, you would probably see somewhere between 4 to 3 minute clear times, half optimized, full optimized, maybe even get that down to 2 minutes. So they're going to be able to deal a lot more damage, and on top of that, you are going to be able to take a lot more damage because obviously you get damage reduction 5% for every Mystic ally that's out, and then when you factor in the 10 up to the 10 Mystic allies that you can get from the 6-piece bonus, that is up to 50% damage. No, not 5. Yeah, 50% damage reduction that you can pretty much get. So that is very, very interesting when you factor in also when you use Cyclone Strike based on the Binders of the Lesson God into every figure, getting some damage reduction off of that and the Crutus boots, and it's going to be a very tanky and very powerful build now. I don't think it's got potential in Season 24 to be a speed build, but it definitely has more significant potential to elevate itself status-wise to be a push build, and a pretty decent push build at that. Case in point there, maybe if I had the current changes, I wouldn't have taken that unnecessary depth. Again, the strategy for the greater risk when you're on lower ones is always going to be use your Cyclone Strike to pull things in, then use your Way of the 100 Fists to pummel things. If you're pulling an Elite Pack, however, or you're surrounded by enemies that are tanky, you would go after the Cyclone Strike, a Mystic Allies attack, which is the attack where you see all the elements kind of push out of the Mystic Allies and deal a lot of damage. So I would recommend mainly saving your Mystic Allies for when you see large Elite Packs or you're on screen and you pulled them in. That way you can pop the Elite Packs super fast. Case in point, Kier, as you saw, I pulled in with Cyclone Strike and then went Mystic Allies. I also then used my Way of the 100 Fists, as you see, based on Goraka's Swiftness's stacks, as well as the Obsidian Ring of Zodak. I get the cooldown Mystic Allies very fast with Way of 100 Fists. And then remember, that does a significant amount of damage because I am using the Shenlong set as well. So it's a way to help mitigate things when you need the cooldown of Mystic Allies, but you still need to do damage. That's why the build works particularly the way it does here. Now, Season 24 Diablo also has something very interesting. They have ethereal weapons, which are going to be a seasonal-only thing for the Season 24 unique rewards, you could say. So, in Season 24 Diablo, if you're playing a seasonal character, you have a chance for ethereal weapons, and I believe it's also armors to drop. These are armors with special stats and affixes, which cannot be modified with death breaths, and you cannot reforge them. You cannot actually even change them via transmog. They're basically like unique weapons that could drop either as Ancient Legendary or Primal Ancient Legendary that have like souped up stats. They're supposed to be based off of Diablo 2 lore, because keep in mind that it was just mentioned on E3, Diablo 2 Resurrected is officially releasing on September 23rd, apparently on all platforms. We will be covering Diablo 2 Resurrected on the channel when we get our hands on it. I do plan to get it on launch. I have not made the decision if we are going to be playing it on the PC or a Nintendo Switch. There are some problems with the Nintendo Switch version, I should note. On the PC version, the PS4/PS5, Xbox One/Xbox Series X, there is, those platforms have up to 8-player co-op for Diablo 2 Resurrected. Nintendo Switch will not have 8-player co-op featured on its platform. I guess it's just going to be 4-player co-op, similar to how Diablo 3 is on the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, Nintendo Switch is not as powerful of a system, so maybe to get the game to run correctly, it would probably be very difficult to get it to run properly online. With 8-player co-op, they opted to do 4-player co-op. That's kind of a little bit of a and downer for me. I would prefer to be able to play with 8 people, so I might be leaning towards the PC version of Diablo 2 Resurrected. But I'll keep these guys updated as to what decision I make in regards to that. But Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming, which is why Season 24 Ethereal weapons are kind of uniquely linked to Diablo 2 Resurrected because it's part of the Diablo 2 lore. It's great to have those souped-up weapons, but there are several downsides. When I was reading through the patch notes, the ethereal weapons will not be transferable after the season has ended to non-seasonal characters, which would include the character that you played in Season 24, if I was reading those notes correctly. So you can't keep the ethereal weapons, so they're only something you could use in the season, which it's kind of cool to celebrate Diablo 2 and it's learn everything, but it's also kind of pointless because what's the point of having an ethereal weapon that you will not be able to take with you once your seasonal journey is over and your seasonal character is no longer a seasonal character? That's quite a bit of a downer to me. So it's kind of cool to have it, and at the same time, it's not so cool. Another thing that it seems that they're going to be carrying on with, which was something that was in Season 23, is it looks like you're going to be able to get double blood shards. You're also going to be getting double ancient legendaries to drop, and so on and so forth. It looks like they want to keep that particular bonus, I guess, to probably celebrate Season 20, or the re-release, so to speak, or the new HD release of Diablo 2 Resurrected. Subsequently, as far as the patch notes go so far, there's also going to be significant changes to armor set that's used for the Crusader and an armor set that is used for the Necromancer. Masquerade of the Burning Carnival's 6-piece bonus is being changed, so you're going to be able to deal less damage than you were before with your Bone Spears. And for the Crusader Valor set, the Valor set, which is the one that uses Fist of the Heavens and Heaven's Fury, is getting a nerf as well, where the 2-piece bonus is only going to have a maximum of up to 3 stacks when you use the Fist of the Heavens. So that is kind of not so good either. So the reasoning behind this so far in the patch notes is that Valor armor and the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival have performed way too well for multiple seasons, which is why Blizzard feels the need to kind of fix the power creep with those particular things and nerf them. I will be testing that stuff out when Season 24 drops. I think it's not going to impact Masquerade of the Burning Carnival too much. Bone Spear is still going to be significantly powerful, but I feel like the 2-piece set bonus change to, I believe it's the 2-piece bonus. It might be the 4-piece bonus, though. But I believe that change to Valor Satyr is going to hurt Valor Satyr significantly because it's not going to be able to perform as high on the Greater Rifts, and the stack is going to kind of hurt, and it's going to maybe force you to use Heaven's Fury a bit more. I might have to change my my Valor set and the way it rocks in Season 24 based on changes. But we have to see because this is the PTV, and they do make augmentations and changes to things that they wanted to nerf. And look at Rothmon. Rothmon was supposed to have Bone Spirit in Season 23, and then when it went live, they took out the Bone Spirit part of it. So it should be interesting to see what really is going to transpire with Season 24 in the PTB. The PTB goes live on June 17th, 2 days from today. So you can test it out if you have, obviously, the PC version of Diablo 3. And you can test out how Ina is going to work in particular. You can try out this build and see if it's stronger now with the changes or not. So definitely keep in mind. This will probably take you very higher up into the Grey Rose. As it stands for Season 23 of Ina, like I said, this is a very, I would say, kind of low-tier armor. Like, you have to do a lot of things. Case in point, I'm going to use my Cyclone Strike to pull enemies in. Then I use the Way of the 100 Fists to mark them. And then usually it'll either be my Mystic Allies themselves that take it out, or I use the Mystic Ally attack. Same strategy before. I use Exploding Palm to mark the enemy. Then I will go Mystic Ally attack, and it'll just force to explode. And then the area effect from Exploding Palm takes out enemies. So keep in mind, as you get higher up and the enemies get a lot more tanky, this is a Greater Rift 70 in particular, you have to kind of rely on the rotation of Way of the 100 Fist, Cyclone Strike, Mystic Ally attack, or Exploding Palm. Or one of the damage rotations you could do is Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, Way of the 100 Fist if your Mystic Ally is not up. If not, then you go after Cyclone Strike, Mystic Ally attack, and implode. So keep this damage rotation as you get to greater of 70 and beyond. When you get into the greater of Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, so you mark them, Mystic Ally Attack, or Way of the 100 Fists, whichever one you have available to you. The enemies will implode, and you have to do those damage rotation cycles to be able to clear things fast and effectively. One of the benefits is that because now the followers have the emanate abilities, thanks to Nemesis Bracers, you're going to have a lot more opportunities to get faster clear times based on the fact that you have more elite packs spawning basically at every pylon that you come across. So definitely make sure you get a Nemesis Bracer for your follower, as well as a Flavor of Time. That way you could just get more optimal speed running through Ina's Mantra, because you get more opportunity and more elite packs than normal. If you were to rely on this regularly, it takes you a lot longer to get elite pack. Your clear times would not be nearly as fast. Greater if 70, what we're doing is Exploding Palm Marker, and then we will usually use either the Mystic Allies themselves passively attacking to take down the Grey Rift Guardian, or if you have your Mystic Ally attack up, which you should normally because you're pummeling with the 100 Fists, you go Mystic Ally and then you pretty much explode. This armor, as it stands currently, not bearing the Season 24 changes in the PTB, will probably only be able to take you up to about a greater of 120 if you're very skilled at this game. I don't see this being able to perform at greater of 130. 120 with a lot of augmentation, probably fully augmented armor, is probably the highest that this is going to be able to perform in terms of Season 23. In Season 24, I have to experiment in the PTB and see exactly how much damage we're getting out of our Mystic Allies, and if the, having 10 Mystic Allies on the field, plus the 2 that you get from the passive, is going to do a significantly larger amount of damage or not, because then maybe you don't even necessarily need Exploding Palm on this build to be able to do things. But again, we have to cross that bridge when we get to it, which we don't necessarily get to until the beginning of Season 24, or if you're playing the PTB. But this is definitely going to be something interesting to try out tomorrow on the PTB for those of you who have access. There you go, greater of 70, 5-minute clear time. That was with 3 augmented pieces of armor. Full augmentation, you probably get that to about, I'd say, 4 to 3-minute clear time. And that's Season 23 damage calculations. Season 24 could be very, very different based on the 6-piece bonus of Ina and the change that they made to the 6-piece set bonus. So keep that in mind. So it should be very, very interesting to see what's going on. Everything's from the patch note for Season 24 Diablo is that the rewards looks like we're going to get a returning pet. So it's going to be a returning pet and a portrait. That's going to be basically your Chapter 4 Seasonal Journey rewards. Then the Seasonal Journey maxed out is going to be a brand new pet. And it looks like it's going to be also a portrait as well. Anybody that's honestly followed me on this channel for a very long time knows how I feel about pets for Diablo 3. I am not a fan of pets as seasonal rewards. I prefer pets, getting them from goblin drops. When I think of seasonal rewards that are worth playing seasons for me, I think wings. It's been quite a long time since we've had wings featured in seasonal journey as the seasonal reward for getting the, maxed out seasonal reward. It's also been a long time since they've given us returning wings from previous seasons that haven't been earned as like the Chapter 4 clear bonus. So, I'm very disappointed to see it's more pets and not like cosmetics that I like to use, which are wings. So, I don't know, I'm not sure it's really going to be worth it for me to play Season 24 as it stands currently. If we could keep the ethereal weapons after the season was over to be able to use with our non-seasonal character, I'd probably be fine with that. Because then it's like I did all that work in that season and got a unique reward that is unique to that one particular character for that one particular season. But since we can't keep the ethereal weapons and the ethereal stuff past the season, there's really no benefit in my viewpoint to playing seasonal outside of getting a pet, which me as a player, I don't care for pets. I only really care for wings as a cosmetic. Pets, to me, it's like, well, they all work the same, and some of them look better than others, but it doesn't really tickle my fancy. Wings, you can put and mix them and match them with armors and use them on transmog sets, and they look great. And it's been a long time since we've had wings as a seasonal journey. So, yeah, I'm disappointed. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th season in a row where the maxed out seasonal reward is pets. And even the Chapter 4 clearing is pets. So that's kind of very disappointing for me. Also, patch notes, we don't really know what we're going to have in terms of our Hadred's Gift already. Based on what I'm looking at, I think we have a strong possibility that they're going to want us to play Ina for our seasonal journey. So I have a feeling probably Ina's Mantra will be the Hadred's Gift for the monk in season 24 of Diablo. This is an educated guess, but I think since they're going to the effort to make all these alterations and buffs to it, they're probably going to want to feature it. Although, because keep in mind, like this current season, season 23 Diablo, Firebird wasn't the seasonal or the starter set for the seasonal character for the wizard. However, Rothman, which got significant changes to it, was the Hadred's Gift for the necromancer. So I could see Ina getting kind of the nod there, since that's the only thing that's not really getting. It's the only thing that's getting a rework and a buff. I don't think we'll get Masquerade of the Burning Carnival for the necromancer. I could see them doing something kind of silly, like giving us probably Anaris again. It's been a while since we've seen Tragul, or which is pretty bad armor anyway, or Pestilence. So I have a feeling we're probably going to see Inaris yet again for the starter for the necromancer, because we just ran Rothman. I don't think they will give us nerfed Masquerade of the Burning Carnival to kind of as an incentive. As far as the Witch Doctor, I don't even know. Who was it this time around? Helltooth? So I could see them probably giving us Jade Harvest, because we haven't seen Jade Harvester in a while for the Witch Doctor. For the Demon Hunter, what have we haven't seen in a while? We haven't seen for the Demon Hunter in particular. I would say maybe the Marauder set, because it's been a while since we've seen Marauder for Hadrids. For the Wizard, I would say probably a high chance that we're going to see the Typhon set, because we haven't seen the Typhon as a seasonal reward in a while, or starter set armor. And that's probably, I think, how it's going to go, because the Wizard really didn't get any love this season, so maybe Firebird. I could see, since they didn't do Firebird last season, and now Firebird is significantly better, and there's a change to how mirror image works based on the patch notes to actually show you a counter on the cooldown and how many you have up. So should be significantly interesting. Now, in terms of augmentation for this armor, my recommendation is, obviously, because this relies on Mystic Ally, get 15% Mystic Ally wherever possible. I would also recommend on your helm 6.0 crit hit chance. I would recommend on your gloves at least attack speed of 6.0 to anywhere 9.0. Critical hit damage 50%, critical hit chance 6.0% would be my recommendation, just to get more attack out of there. Then subsequently, anywhere where you could buff Mystic Ally by 15%, definitely invest in it. Since the set doesn't use Captain Crimson, you don't have to rely so much on cooldown reduction, but I would recommend cooldown reduction just so you can kind of get your Mystic Ally attack to go off a lot more. Obviously, Goraka's swiftness by itself will help, but the more cooldown reduction that you have for that will optimize that much more significantly for your Mystic Ally plays. Now, again, like I said, as you get higher up in the Greater Rift, which is probably why now we're getting these changes, you have to rely on your Cyclone Strike and then marking things with your Exploding Palm. And then you have to be very careful, because since this is a armor where you have to be up close and personal to do a significant chunk of damage, you're very susceptible to AoE effects from the enemies. So, poison pulls, icy pulls, explosions, everything. So don't get discouraged, at least if you're dying a significant amount with Ina's Mantra, because Ina's Mantra has to be up close and personal and doesn't like to have AoE effects. It hinders them a lot. Again, Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, then go Mystic Ally, because you saw that current damage rotation and explode things. That's what you need to rely on the bread and butter. When you get to the Rift Guardian, here you got to go Exploding Palm Marker, and then you kind of got to hope that your Mystic Ally attack is on cooldown. If not, use your Way 100 Fists to build up the cooldown to then go Mystic Ally attack, as you just saw me do currently. That's kind of how you got to play it through. Keep in mind that this build in Season 23 is significantly weaker, but now with the Season 24 changes in the PTB, which you could test out this build in basically 2 days, and it probably is going to be significantly stronger. This is probably the most optimal way you are going to want to play Ina's Mantra going into the PTB and beyond it in Season 20 for Diablo. I will revisit it in Season 24 at the start, so definitely keep that in mind. We will be doing Diablo 2 Resurrected content as well as Diablo 3 content. I think I'm going to do one video for each game per week. Again, it's a matter of only time will tell with that. I got to see which game is going to be getting more love. I'm actually surprised that Blizzard's not going to completely abandon seasons for Diablo 3. Very, very surprised about that. Okay, so that was 7-minute clear time because we took some unnecessary deaths and we're roughly optimized. Optimized, I'd say about 4-minute clear time, maybe 3 minutes, maybe even 2 minutes. It all depends how powerful the PTB testing really proves. So that's pretty much how the Ina's Mantra plays currently. This is probably my recommendation to how you should play it going into PTB in 2 days and even in Season 24. Assuming, remember, PTB, they do make changes afterwards and so on and so forth. So what we think we're going to get might not necessarily be what we get when Season 24 goes live, but we'll be discussing this in future installments. I'll be keeping an eye on the patch notes for you guys and all. So let's see what we got here. We didn't really get any good loot that we can use. I'm trying to find some more ancient legendary pieces that I can then kind of trick out this armor a bit more. So that's pretty much going to do it for today's Diablo 3 video. The next video, we will be having some fun with the Horde of the 90 Savages build for the Barbarian class, so definitely keep an eye out for that one, because I actually feel like that armor, it can perform even better than the Whirlwind Barbarian build that everybody clings to. So definitely make sure to keep an eye out for that video. It should be dropping later on in the week. As always, a like on this video is greatly appreciated. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, consider doing so as it helps the channel grow, and I will see you for the next Diablo 3 video. Till next time.